Finally, we can say the pretty ones count too.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what you say. Hard work, work, work. Earn more pay. Hard work, work, work. Do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of 2:45. Hard work, work. You go and earn more pay. Hard work, work.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuned to the Sports Talk of Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Doc at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media and follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. What's going on, y'all? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. I am rejuvenated, refreshed, and even though I didn't get in till 2:30 a.m. from Massachusetts, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Looking good. On my mama, on my hood. I look fly. I look good. Touch my swag, wish you could, because I look fly. I look good. Hey. Sorry. Just feeling good this morning. I am. I feel rejuvenated. Side note, I had a great time in Rhode Island. This is my first time ever being in Rhode Island. I've been to Massachusetts before. I think I've been to Boston twice, but I had never been to Rhode Island. Shout out to Providence, Rhode Island. Shout out to Paul Tuckett. Paul Tuckett. I had a bad time dealing with Enterprise Rental Car. We'll talk about that at another date. I don't want to bring the mood down by talking about how pissed off I was by them, but it's neither here nor there. Man, I was in Paul Tuckett, Rhode Island, and that's Rhode Island, right? I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Anyway, I was in Rhode Island. I had an amazing time. And the weather, oh my God. Listen, I'm not a person that wish for cold weather a lot, but just being able to, feel a little bit of that cold weather. I think on Sunday it was 47 degrees. It started raining at the end. After the game, it started raining hard. And it rained all the way till I got back to the airport. But other than that, and weather was amazing. And you could tell. So, in Houston, we don't get seasons. In Houston, we just get hot, hotter, humid, humider. I don't even know if that's a word. Humider, not humidor. I know what a humidor is, but I'm talking about humider, humidist. We don't really get seasons here. We get like a half of a day of a season. Like you'll come out and be cool, and then by the end of the day, you gotta take your hoodie off because you're burning up. And so I really enjoyed having and being a part of a season. I like Rhode Island. I think I'm gonna take my wife back there. She needs to go. She needs to go and enjoy because I want to go to like Rhode Island. I want to go to Maine. What is that? What else is up there? Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, some other stuff. Not the Hamptons though. I can't afford the Hamptons. Mobeezy. I'll find out today. I do know that if I'm going to give you an injury report, let me give you all an injury update real quick. As reported by myself and the others that were in attendance at Foxborough, Henry To'oTo'o is in concussion protocol. We'll get more information as the week goes on about if he'll be available against the Green Bay Packers or not. Azeez Al-Shaair walked out under his own. He walked out on his own. There was a very small limp, but you could tell that knee was just giving him a little issue. And it's interesting to see how he's going to hold up after flying home. So we will see. We will see. I don't know. I'm hoping that we get an update on Christian Harris this week. And in non-injury related news, D'Amico Autry comes back. D'Amico Autry comes back. That's going to be what? Wait a minute. There you go. Very. All right, once again, you tune into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show live on YouTube. I'm your host, Big Sarge. On today's show, Texans get pretty win. Texans get a pretty win. 41-21 over the New England Patriots to improve to 5-1 on the season. The defense showed out. It was the first win for the Houston Texans in Foxborough. They were 0-7. They were 0-7 going into that game with the regular season and playoffs included. So they got their first win in franchise history in Foxborough. The running game gives Stroud a day off. Texans have improved in one main area. Can't wait. I already have Pack fans talking smack to me. I can imagine. And so that last thing that I said, right? Let's start with the last thing first. The Texans have improved in one main area. We came on here a couple of weeks ago and we discussed how the Houston Texans just couldn't seem to get out of their own way when it came to penalties. They kept getting in their own way when it came to penalties. They were stopping offensive drives with pre-snap penalties, and they were giving opposing offenses the ability, they were giving opposing offenses the ability to sustain drives because of penalties. So the theme throughout the first, 3 weeks, throughout the first 4 weeks had been penalties. And especially in that 3-game span against the Bears, who did they play? The Bears, the Vikings, and the Jags. Get it together, Sarge. I know. I'm up. Then that 3-game span against the Bears, the Vikings, and the Jags, they looked horrible. But on yesterday, against the Patriots, they had four penalties for 38 yards. 4 penalties for 38 yards. And I think the majority of those came on that last drive in the first half. I don't remember them getting too many penalties in the second half, but I know that in the first half, they got the majority of these penalty yards on that last drive. And so they had four penalties for 38 yards against the Patriots this past Sunday. The previous Sunday, they had 7 penalties for 65 yards against the Bills. So in their last 2 games, they have 11 penalties for 103 yards. What's good, AD? Yep, Andre, exactly. Hold on, let me see. Is this okay? What's good, my guy? So in the last 2 games, they have a combined 11 penalties for 103 yards. In their previous 3 games, in their previous 3 games against the Bears, the Vikings, and the Jags, they had 35 penalties for 293 yards. They were averaging 11.66 penalties and 97.6 penalty yards per game. And so what the Houston Texans have done in the last 2 games by only having 11 penalties for 103 yards, having under 50 yards in penalties against the Patriots on Sunday, that's a very good thing. And that means that Houston Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans went in there and he's made a statement. Because when you look at those penalties is a direct result of coaching, because that means it's undisciplined. And I know it's the players causing the penalties, but the pre-snap penalties is kind of a direct reflection of the coaching and the players, but the coaches take responsibility for those pre-snaps as well. And they were getting a lot of pre-snap penalties before. So to see them have less than 50 yards on Sunday against the Patriots, and the week prior they had less than 75 yards, that you got to give D'Amico Ryans and his coaching staff along with the players some credit. And we see what can happen when they are allowed to sustain drives on the offensive side of the ball without having those pre-snap penalties. Now, I know that the game against the Buffalo Bills didn't look like some may have wanted it to look, and I know that it came down to a Kaimi Fairbairn 59-yard game-winning field goal, but they had a lot of long drives in that game. They were able to sustain a lot of drives, and we see what happens. The more you have CJ Stroud on the field, the better your chances are of winning the game. But when you're taking him off the field because of penalties, when you're taking him off the field because you jumping off sides, or you're in illegal formation or illegal shifts, when you're taking him off the field like that, he can't give you an opportunity and a chance to win those type of games. And so the one area that I am really proud of the Houston Texans, and most Houston Texans fans should be proud as well, is that they have cut down on the penalties. And that's going to be very, very crucial heading into Lambeau Field this weekend to take on the Green Bay Packers. Hold on one second. Y'all give me a second. Let me look at something. I need to see something. Uh-oh, here we go. Because I said that on last week that the Houston Texans needed to go into Foxborough. They needed to go into Gillette Stadium, and they needed to make a statement. They needed a nasty win. They needed a pretty win, but they needed a nasty win. They needed to send a message to the rest of the AFC that they're here. Hey, look, we here. We ain't gone nowhere. We still right here. We're still the team that everybody had predicted to go to the AFC, that a lot of people, had predicted to go to the AFC Championship game, and a small chance of going to the Super Bowl. But they went into New England and they made a statement. Now they have to make another statement by going into Lambeau Field playing against the Green Bay Packers, who defeated the Arizona Cardinals yesterday by a score of 34-13. If they can get that win, and we'll talk about that later on in the week, we'll definitely talk about that. Hey, Alexis, we'll definitely talk about that on the Locked On Texans podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from. Going into Lambeau, but I want to stay right here on this pretty win that they had against the Buffalo Bill. Yep, that's like the guys knocking on the door when you're trying to be with your momentum jacked. Exactly. Let's see. What do you think about Archery? Do you think the D-line could take another level? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And AD, you're right. That's a real statement game. Shout out to the A1 since day one. Know what I'm talking about? What's going on? So they have to go into Lambeau. They made a statement in the AFC this week that even though the Baltimore Ravens are playing at a high level right now, even though the Baltimore Ravens have taken it to another level, I still think that the Houston Texans are a better team because they haven't yet. And when they do, it's going to be scary for the rest of the league. And that's why they need to go into Green Bay this week and win. And it doesn't have to be a convincing win. They just have to win because the Green Bay Packers is one of the better teams in the in the NFC. So if you can go and do that and improve your record to 6-1, now we have to start talking about, all right, this second half of, that'll be 3 games into the second quarter, heading into the third quarter, where they do have some tough games on the back end. They do have a tough schedule as far as games are concerned. So close, so many games in such a short amount of time period. Hey, AD, if I'm not mistaken, don't they have like 3 games in like a 10 or 12 day period? I don't know. What's up, Larry? Larry and my squad going to be ready for Green Bay. Trust me. I hope so. I think that the only thing that would not have them ready is if if some of these individuals can't come back from the from injury. 3 games in 10 days. So that's going to, so they just need to be able to take that to the next level. And when the time comes at 3 games in 10 days. Hey, is that the Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore stretch? because I know they play Miami, and then after they play Miami, they play Kansas City in December on Saturday, and then that following Wednesday on Christmas Day. So I think they play the Chiefs December 21st, and then they play the Ravens on December 25th on Christmas Wednesday here at NRG Stadium. AD, I'm not messing with you today. Put when the rundown gonna be on there, man. Yep, the Dolphins, Chiefs, and Ravens. Yep. Yep, it starts in Miami. That's what I thought. All right. So, like I said, the penalties have come down, which you've seen the Houston Texans offense, even though they don't have their number one wide receiver in Nico Collins on yesterday, on Sunday, they were still able to do that. Now we got to jump to the stars of the game, right? And that's the defensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to start with Will Anderson Jr. because, I mean, why not? Like, Will Anderson Jr. is somebody that we have been talking about ever since the Houston Texans traded up to get him. Ever since the Houston Texans traded up to get him, and they went back-to-back, they got C.J. Stroud with the second pick in the 2023 NFL draft. And then at number 3, they traded and got Will Anderson Jr., who some said, "Oh man, we don't know if we don't know what Will Anderson Jr. gonna be." Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you have an opportunity to draft the 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, if you have a chance to draft an All-American like that, if you have a chance to draft a talent like Will Anderson Jr., you do that. That's what you do. You draft him, no matter what you have to give up. Hey, they got CJ. They knew they were going to get a quarterback. They happened to get the best one out of the 2023 NFL draft. Now, so you go get the best quarterback out of the draft, and then you go and you get the best defensive player in the draft. And then what did they do? At the end of last season, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year was who? Don't worry, I'll wait. NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, NFL Defensive Rookie Player of the Year was. Hey, look, hold on. Is Big Sarge a psychic? Do we see an NFL Defensive Player of the Year in the future for Will Anderson Jr.? No, my powers did not work on the lotto number, so don't ask me. No, my powers do not work to find out if your spouse is cheating. Don't work that way. Could be. But Will Anderson Jr., and this is the one thing that I think that a lot of people miss when it comes to Will Anderson Jr., is that Will Anderson did not play with his hand in the dirt until last year. Will Anderson Jr. pretty much stood up his entire college career. And what I mean by hand in the dirt, that means that he's getting down in a 4-point stance, sometimes a 3-point stance. And that's his first time. He had to learn that. And we see what is happening when it comes to Will Anderson. Will Anderson Jr. had a monster day. He had 3 sacks, 8 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, all career highs. And not only that, this is where you look at the Houston Texans scout team. This is where you look at general manager Nick Caserio. This is where you look at DeMeco Ryans and you say, man, look, y'all have got to be by far one of the best units when it comes to scouting some of these players, because Will Anderson Jr. had 5 pressures on Sunday against the Patriots. 3 came in under 2.5 seconds. He's one of 13 players with over 90 quarterback pressures since the start of last season. One of 13 players with over 90 quarterback pressures since the start of last season. And in his 5 pressures on Sunday, 3 of them came in under 2.5 seconds. And that's according to Next Gen Stats. Do you realize how fast that is? Do you realize how fast that is to get off the ball like that and get to the quarterback that quick? For a guy who is going into his second season of playing with his hand in the dirt. Will Anderson is learning every game. He's learning more and more and more how to play that position, and he's becoming one of the better ones. On yesterday after the game, he told us that what he had to start doing was trusting his moves. He said that it wasn't that he wasn't afraid. He just didn't trust his moves as much. He says, and now in these last couple of games, he started to trust his moves more, and it started to work out for him. And listen, him and Minnesota Vikings defensive end Jonathan Grenard are very good friends. They talk football a lot, but so is him and defensive end Danielle Hunter. Because Danielle Hunter said on yesterday, Danielle Hunter told me when I asked him about Will's day, he said, I just kept telling him, you don't have none. He had a sack. I told him, you ain't got no sacks. He got the second sack. I told him, you ain't got no sacks. He got a third sack. I told him, you ain't got no sacks. You don't have no sacks. And Will said, Danielle is like a big brother to him. He hugs him every time he sees him because Will doesn't have any brothers. Will got all sisters. And, you know, that has been documented. That the articles have been written about how hard his sisters are on him. They're almost like his brothers, the way that they be on him, because Will is the baby. And so he said that having Danielle Hunter as a big brother and teaching him these different types of things. So you're learning from Danielle Hunter. You're still learning from Jonathan Grenard, a veteran in this league. And Will is just turning into something. Hold on for a second. I don't even know what that means. Will is friendly. I don't even know what that means, AD. But I feel like by the end of the season, especially going into next season, we'll be talking about Will Anderson Jr. like you talk about TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said it. I ain't went nowhere. I'm right here. And y'all, if y'all know anything about Big Sarge, I stand 10 toes down on everything I say. If I say it, I believe it. If I say it, I believe it. I don't need no clicks. I don't need no likes. I don't need no reshares. If I say it, I believe it, and I'm here to defend it. 100%. Hold on, let's see what Patty had to say. Shout out to Patty. Last year's draft was awesome, and this year's was highly speculative, but we got starters out of this year's draft too. Of course. Corey, you're right. That's a big jump, but just watch the way he continues to play. The quarterback pressures turned into sacks on yesterday, and some will say, hey, look, the New England Patriots don't have the best of offensive lines when it comes to the NFL talent. But hey, look, you can only play against who you can play against. And TJ Watt is, hey, look, phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And I'm not saying that Will is going to be him by week 10, but heading into his third season, if he continues on the trajectory that he's on, I mean, Corey, think about it. 3 of his quarterback pressures came in under 2.5 seconds. Will was a menace. And I'm gonna put it like this. We're looking at the sacks. We're looking at the quarterback pressures. That wasn't even the most interesting play from Will Anderson to me. And I told him this. I said, man, this was after the game before we got into the media scrum. I was sitting there talking to him, and I said, man, look, I said, bro, you had a hell of a game. You had 3 sacks. I said, but that wasn't even the most impressive play to me. The most impressive play to me was there was a run play where you came from the left side of the line and chased the running back down and tackled him on the right side of the line. His left side. I'm talking about the running back's left side, but Will's right side. Will chased him down and tackled him. I said, bro, that was impressive to me for you to be able to have that type of momentum, that type of wherewithal, and the instincts to be able to get off your block, read the play, and go over and make the tackle. He just started laughing. And say, I remember that play. And so, like I said, we're talking about Will Anderson Jr. becoming a monster. He came into his own on yesterday. He allowed the Houston Texans offense to be able to do what they did. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the offense in just a second. But that defense That defense was amazing. Forced 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And that second quarter debacle led to second half wake up call. Listen, it was so funny because when I got to Gillette Stadium, right, that was my first time ever being in Gillette Stadium, and they will let you know that they have the amount of Super Bowls that they have. You can't go nowhere and not see Super Bowl champions and see the Super Bowls that they won. There ain't too many places you could go in that stadium and not still see pictures of Tom Brady. So it's a lot of history there. It's a lot of nostalgia there. It's a lot of it still has a lot of that winning culture from the past, not as far as the team is concerned, but just as far as the aura and the environment, right? And so when I'm sitting there, right, and I'm watching the second half, right, because we all remember how the first half ended for the defense. It's like they forgot that they were even on the field. Like they forgot that they were even on the field, and they gave up a touchdown pass to Drake May. I'm sorry. They gave up a touchdown pass from Drake May to, who was it? Butte? Where's my roster? I left my roster in there. I'm like, against Stingley. And I'm like, Stingley, how you give that up to him? It's almost as if, I'm going to be honest with you, it's almost as if Stingley, I don't want to say that he was lost focus. I don't think he expected them to come his way like that. I honestly and truly don't believe that he expected them to come his way, because he didn't expect them to throw on him like that. And sometimes when that happens, you get caught slipping. When that happens, you get caught slipping. Derek got caught slipping, right? Let me side note my side note. A lot of people had a lot to say about Derek Stingley Jr. after the game, and some people were saying, "Oh, is he really a shutdown corner? Can we really depend on him? Look at what he did. He gave up a touchdown pass, a 40-yard touchdown pass to a wide receiver that shouldn't even been on the field." Cool. I got that. You're right. We watched it. He did. Do you know what happened on the rest of the day? You know what happened on the rest? Do you know what happened the rest of the day? You know what happened the rest of the game? Derek Stingley got targeted 5 times, gave up 4 catches, 56 yards. 4 catches for 56 yards. I just told you that one of those catches was for 40 yards. That means if you take away that 40-yard bomb at the end of the second half, Derek Stingley gave up 3 catches for 16 yards. What the hell are we talking about? What in the hell are we talking about that Derek Stingley Jr. is not a shutdown corner? The type of things that happen at the end of the second quarter, it happens, right? It happens. It happens to the best of them. It happens to the best of them. So I'm not taking away anything from the New England Patriots and doing what they did at the end of that second quarter and going at Derek Stingley. And it was Derek Stingley's fault. It was his fault. I didn't get a chance to talk to him after the game, but I will get a chance to talk to him this week. And I'm going to ask him, hey, man, just walk me through it. What happened? And he's a football savant, so he's going to tell you exactly what happened. He'll tell you, hey, look, this is what happened. And I think what happened, if I had to, me looking at it, I think Derek got caught kind of looking in the backfield still, and I think he could have underestimated the speed of the wide receiver. So Derek had speed, he could catch up, but he gave up that 40-yard touchdown pass. It happens in the NFL. Plays like that happen. Plays like that happen to good players. You live with it, right? You got to live with it. And so you would think that would have given them momentum. And once again, Derek Stingley gave up 4 catches. He was targeted 5 times, gave up 4 catches for 56 yards. 1 catch, 40 yards, touchdown. 3 catches for 16 yards on the rest of the day. So those type of plays happen, right? Those type of plays happen, and you would think, okay, now the Houston Texans have given this young rookie quarterback some momentum coming into the second half. I digress back to my original point of what I was about to make about being at Gillette Stadium, about being in Foxborough, Massachusetts, about being in the house that Tom Brady built, about being in a place where the Super Bowl champions have reside multiple Super Bowl championships, and I started to think, watching the second half. When I'm watching the second half, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh crap, D'Amico has channeled his inner Bill Belichick. D'Amico has channeled like the spirit of Bill Belichick must have came into the visiting locker room, because if you know anything about football, if you've watched football, and if you know anything about the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick is the master of second half adjustments. That man will go into that man used to go into halftime, and it was almost like he said, "All right, oh, this the first half, yeah. Let's just go ahead and throw that away. It don't even matter. I already got the second half written up. Oh no, I already got the second half written up. How you do that, coach? I did that walking off the field. The master of second half adjustments. And not only is he the master of second half adjustments because of the brilliant defensive mind that Bill Belichick is, but he's also a motivator. And he's going to give you some choice words. He's going to tell you, hey, get it together. So I could imagine when D'Amico Ryans was going into halftime, he had already started to think about the adjustments that he was going to make against the New England Patriots and that rookie quarterback. And got in there and gave him some choice words. Now I asked him, what he said in the second half. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna pull that up. I should have had it together for you all, but I didn't know if I was gonna actually have to say it or not. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where is it, Sarge? Where is it, Sergeant? Here we go. Here we go. So I asked him, coach, at the end of the first half, there were 4 offensive stalls, and then the defense gave up a touchdown. What did you say at halftime to get them refocused? Came out 27 points in the second half, and the defense was flying around. He said, right, halftime, I just felt like we were kind of just during that second quarter, I felt like we kind of took our foot off the gas and kind of relaxed. And it was just that we had to flip our mindset and understand this is the NFL. Like, guys aren't laying down, they're coming back out, they're making adjustments. They'll be ready to go. And we just had to make sure we got back to what we said we were going to do, and that's execute. That's the only thing that matters. It's us executing, and we kind of fell into a lull there and allowed them to get points. See that PC answer that coach gave me? Yeah. So I talked to I asked around in the locker room afterwards, and he didn't say it PC. Oh, I was really trying to keep it PG. No, it wasn't PG at all. He had to let them know. He had to let the defense know, hey, y'all got to get it together. Y'all have to get it together. And like I said, that's channeling that inner Bill Belichick, that aura that still remains around that stadium. And we seen what happened in the second half. In the second half, what was it? The second offensive play for the New England Patriots, second defensive play for the Texans defense. What happened? Bam! Danielle Hunter. He hit Drake May, forced the fumble. They recovered. Hey, let's go. And that defense played lights out in the second half. Give me a second to pull this up. Allowed 14 points in the second half. Let me see. Allowed 169 yards. Where are the turnovers? That's what I want to see. Forced 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers in that second half. What am I doing? Get back to where we at, Sarge. So D'Amico Ryans channeled his inner Bill Belichick. They came out and they played lights out. They pressured May on 47.6% of his dropbacks. They had 26 quarterback pressures on the day, 4 sacks. They had been giving up, I think, nearly 48% of the dropbacks when Jacoby Brissett was in the game. So nothing really changed. Nothing really changed at all. Except, hold on, before we move on. Side note. We seen the way that defense play, right? Hey, look, shout out to Eric Murray. I know you gave up a touchdown, but that interception was one hell of a play. Listen, I know. When it comes to Eric Murray, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And if Larry and Stafford is still here, I know he's saying, Sarge, I know you're not about to waste my time talking about Eric Murray. Larry, you have got to give it up to him. You've got to give him his credit on that interception. Yes, he gave up a touchdown. Cool. I mean, we also just talked about Derek Stingley giving up a touchdown too. I'm not saying they're in the same boat. I'm just saying, Larry, you've got to give Eric Murray his props on that interception. That was one hell of a catch. That was one hell of a catch. And so now I forgot where I was going. What was I about to say? I just lost my my train of thought just that quick. What was I talking about last? Pressure May, quarterback, 4 sacks. Just that quick, man. I started talking about Eric Murray. I lost my train of thought because it was just one of those plays where you just be like, damn. I don't know how many people could have actually made that play. Hold on. Eric Murray made a play on that interception. Courtesy of Will. Hey, look. Hey, hold on. Courtesy of Will Anderson tip. Hey, pause. I'm just gonna keep it moving. I really like what like I said, I really like what the Houston Texans did. Houston Texans defense did in that second half. They played very, very well. All right. Here we go. As I was looking at something, y'all, I get myself caught up in looking at some other things, especially when it comes to the Texans. I'd be like, ooh, I won't talk about that. I won't talk about that. But then I don't want to talk about it because I want to wait until we talk about it a little bit later on. Let me hop into let me hop into some of these comments before I continue. Boom, 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 boom. Think I did it. What do you think about Archer? Do you think the D line could take it to another level? Yes, I do. That's a real statement game. I think you're talking about the Packers game. My squad going to be ready for Green Bay. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. And no, AD, no, I don't. No, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. Uh, 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 uh. Hold on. Now, that's not what you said, Larry. You said people calling him sorry, not good. I think he's talking about Derek Stingley Jr. That don't happen to Champ Bailey or Charles Woodson. Corey, let me stop right there. Right, let me just because we're still talking about Derek Stingley Jr. We're going to get to the offense in just a second. You said that doesn't happen to Champ Bailey or Charles Woodson. They also played during a different time. They also played during a different era. They weren't passing the ball as much as they were now. Don't get me wrong. Champ Bailey and Charles Woodson and Richard Sherman played into that passing era. But these two you talking about, yes. Hey, look, hands down, two of my favorite defensive backs of all time after Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is creme de la creme for me. Creme de la creme, can't get no better than that. But these two, yes. And so I also don't think that during the time that they played, they weren't passing the ball as much as they are now. And I know you're going to say, well, you're just talking about the lack of focus. And I get that part. But they also just played in a different era. Let's see what Larry had to say. Larry said, what I said was people saying he's not good was stupid. And the reference of not good was not directed at any one individual. It's me reference. What in the hell are we talking about when it comes to Stingley? Yes. Let me get to some more of these other comments. I don't like Murray, but he's been balling out. He has been playing a whole lot better. Oh, pause again. I just had to bring that back to pause it. Um, you think Harris comes back this week? That's a very interesting question because I don't know. I don't know. Every time it seems like he's ready to come back, it's just like, uh, uh, mm. I agree, AD. I would like some more safety help. Hey, sorry, do you think the Texans need to bring in some more linebacker help? Actually, I do. Actually, I do because you don't know the status of Henry Toa. You don't know the full status of Aziz Al Shair. Jake Hansen is even coming back off a back injury. You have rookie Jamal Hill, but he's still a rookie and hasn't played in this type of environment yet. He's still learning the linebacker position because you remember Jamal Hill was a safety when he was at Oregon and he switched to playing linebacker his last season at Oregon. So he's still learning a position. You have Neville Hewitt, who has been good in the past, but if you have to go with, let's just say a Jamal, if you have to go with like a Jamal Hill and a Neville Hewitt, that means that you need your front four to be balling lights out. And if you're going to do that against the Green Bay Packers, you get Danico Autry back. But that means that Autry got a ball out. Mario Edwards, who balled out on Sunday against the Patriots, he got a ball out. Tim Settle has the ball out. Khalil Davis balled out, but he has to continue to ball out. Fadakasi has to continue to ball out. So you know what you're going to get in Will Anderson Jr. and you know what you're going to get in Daniil Hunter. If that interior line can continue to be as consistent as they have been in the past, then you may be able to sustain 1 week, maybe 2 weeks of losing Henry Toa. You can't lose Henry. You can't lose Henry and Aziz and not have Christian Harris. That's just going to be a hard day because now you're getting caught up. For as good as that front four can be, you're still getting caught up in pass coverage. And we seen against the Patriots, it's like the crossing routes was killing the Texans defense. The crossing routes like was killing that defense. So yeah, that's why I was yelling from the rooftop to go get Justin Simmons. Are we gonna talk about the Scruggs problem? I don't know what Scruggs is, but I think he's talking about Scruggs. We're gonna get that. Good morning, Amy. Tula, my guy. It was nice to see the Texans get a blowout win at Gillette, and like seeing Pierce get some carries as well. Of course. Should have been 51-21 had Dalton caught that touchdown pass. We're gonna get to that in just a second. H-Town talk. The better question is, what are we gonna do about Schultz? Of course, we're gonna get there in just a second. Jake Hansen season. All right. Let me go ahead and jump into this last thing before I get up out of here because we got some players talking today at 11:30 over at NRG. Then at 1:30, we're going to hear from Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans. All right. How many of you all have seen the movie? How many of you all have seen the movie Forrest Gump? And you know, in that movie, when Forrest Gump ran from it seemed like he ran from Rhode Island to California, or Rhode Island to Alaska. I don't know where he's run from. They kept just saying, Forrest just kept running and running and running. And then I think what part of the movie was it? Was it Jenny that said, "Run, Forrest, run"? Was that the part where Forrest just kept running? I don't remember. What was that Jenny who was telling him, "Run, Forrest, run"? Could imagine. That's what offense coordinator for Texans offense coordinator Bobby Slowick was saying to Joe Mixon yesterday. Run, Joe, run. Keep running. Please take the pressure off of me. I don't want to hear my name. I don't want to see my name on social media. I don't want to see my name in the headlines. Run, Joe. Run. Run and keep running. Run, Joe. Don't stop. Don't keep going. Go, Joe. Go. Go, Joe. Go. can imagine that's what Bobby Sloak was saying on the sideline yesterday, watching Joe Mixon run and having him back in that offense. He finished the day with 13 carries, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, had a great 59-yard run, had 2 catches for 30 yards and 1 touchdown. So he finished the day with 132 yards from scrimmage. But it isn't just what Joe Mixon brings to the field, right? It isn't just what Joe Mixon brings to the field. It isn't what Joe Mixon brings to that offense as far as running the ball. Having him back in that with the offense allows Bobby Sloak to do a lot of different things. It allows CJ Stroud to do a lot of different things. It allows that offensive line to do a lot of different things. Having him back just is different. He's a different type of running back. He's a different type of running back, not only for the Houston Texans, but he's a different type of running back in the NFL. But it isn't just his skill set. It isn't just his talent. It's his attitude. Let me tell y'all something. Joe Mixon don't change. He don't change for nobody. Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon. And he don't care if the camera's on, if the camera's off. Joe Mixon gonna be Joe Mixon. Period. Point blank. And that is a dog, a competitor, highly competitive, doesn't want to lose at anything. Got a lot of, hey, hold on. Side note, weights. They look like the second Texas football team yesterday. You talking about UT. Hey, so I can't wait to get in the locker room on Wednesday because Chris Boyd from the University of Texas and Joe Mixon from Oklahoma were talking a lot of trash leading up to the Red River rivalry. Ain't that what it is? Red River rivalry, Red River shootout, whatever it's called. The Texas-Oklahoma game. They were talking a lot of trash to each other. And after the game on yesterday, I said, hey, Chris, you talked trash to Joe? He said, I haven't really gotten a chance to talk trash to Joe just yet because we were focused on this game. But now that this game is over, he about to get this work. He didn't say get this work. I added get this work, but it's another story for another time. Oh, hold on. We'll get to these comments. Just Sarah, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Mario had 64%, 42 of the snaps, so Foley had 27%, 18. Yep. All right, so but back to what I was saying. Joe gonna be who Joe is. And Coach D'Amico Ryan said, hey, look, I ain't never seen a competitor like him. And I know what he means. He don't mean just somebody that's gonna get on the field and show you. He gonna be somebody that's gonna tell you. He gonna talk it to you too. You gonna hear Joe. That's the one thing. You ain't never got to worry about not hearing Joe. Joe Mixon is going to talk. He's going to be who he is. And he brings that different level of energy to the field. And like I said, not only with his skill set and his talent, but his ability to lead. Yes, he leads by example, but he also is going to let you know. He going to talk and he going to tell you, hey, let's get this going. Let's get this thing going. I'm ready. He was ready to get back in the game, ready to play, ready. Throughout the whole week, I was told that he just said, I'm ready to get back on the field. I'm ready to get back on the field. I'm ready to show these boys that I am I am one of the best NFL running backs in the game. And we seen it. We seen it against the Patriots. And there were some runs that he got stopped. But that 59-yard run was good. Joe Mixon has vision. Even CJ Stroud said that in his post-game press conference. He got vision. Him being able to see the hole, him being able to see what's in front of him. Sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes the defensive lineman is on you, the linebacker is on you so quick, there's nothing you can do. Cool. But when he's able and he has time to be able to see, bam, bam, bam. And so Joe Mixon balled out. And like I said, I know Bobby kept saying, run, Joe, run, run. Keep running, Joe. Even on the sideline, run, Joe, run. You know what's so funny? In the second half, in the third quarter, Joe Mixon only had 2 touches, right? He only had 2 touches. Let me get to this right quick. Let's go third quarter. Let's go player stats. In the third quarter, he had 2 carries for 7 yards. Damian Pierce got the bulk of the carries with 4. He had 4 carries. In the fourth quarter, just like I thought. So let me get back over here. Joe Mixon only had 3 touches in the second half. 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Y'all remember what happened in that one carry he got in the fourth quarter? He went 20 yards for a touchdown. That's after sitting on the sideline, watching Damian Pierce do his thing. He touched the ball one time in the fourth quarter and went to the house. Went to the house. Having him back changes the trajectory of the offense, the entire trajectory of the offense. And it allows Bobby Slowick to go back to some of the original stuff that he wanted to call at the beginning of the season. We seen the type of game plan Bobby called against the Indianapolis Colts. We seen what he could do when he has a running back like Joe Mixon in the game, who had 159 yards rushing in that first game, and then in the second game against the Chicago Bears, he got hurt on an illegal tackle. And he has voiced that look, it was illegal, and so having him back does a lot. Hey, I was glad to see Damian Pierce back. He had 8 carries for 76 yards and 1 touchdown. That 54-yard run. I guess DP said he wanted in on it too. He's like, don't forget about me. Hey, y'all, don't forget about me. DP still right here. I'm right here, y'all. Hey, I'm right here. With the running game going, with the running game going like that, that gave Stroud a day off per se. And we'll get to that in just a second. But let me give y'all some more stats. Mixing with the stack box with 8 defenders in the box, 7 rushes, 63 yards. Most of those yards came from running behind Laramie Tunsil and Kenyon Green. So the offensive line needs to take that next step next week. They allowed 19 quarterback pressures, 2 sacks, but Mixon helped them as a unit. Listen, I know, I understand, and I get it. I am not here to put on a Houston Texans cape and tell you all everything is rosy. That's not going to happen right here on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. It's not going to happen. It's not. I'm just going to tell you the facts. I'm going to tell you the facts. What did I tell you? Hey, Derek Stingley got beat. One of the best corners in the game, but he got beat. The linebackers look good. They look confused on the crossing routes. Jalen Petrie did not have a very good day on yesterday. There was one play on that touchdown play to, I think it was Hunter Henry, which was a great play call by the New England Patriots because Hunter Henry looked like he was standing in to block, and then he sneaked out into the flats. That's why you see Jalen Petrie chasing him like that, because he didn't know that he was going into the route. But going back and watching the play, and I don't know what play was called, but just watching the play, Jalen Petrie and Azeez Al-Shaair go to fill the same lane. They go into the same lane. They go into the same hole. Well, if Petrie just allows Azeez Al-Shaair to fill that gap and fill that hole right there, he's still able to stay out here just in case they do run that. And you're going to have to make your Jalen Petrie is going to have to get better at that, because more teams, look, this is a copycat league, and more teams see that. They're going to say, okay, well, we know how to beat Jalen Petrie. We know how to beat him in that slot position. So with Azeez filling that hole, they both were in that gap at the same time. And so if you let Azeez fill the gap, and if it is a running play, then you come and assist. But, and look, hey, I'm playing armchair quarterback. I'm playing Monday morning quarterback. I'm playing hindsight is 2020 quarterback right here. But both of y'all can't be in the same spot at the same time, knowing that there still is an eligible wide receiver on the end of the line. And so if I'm D'Amico, and if I'm Matt Burke, and if I'm Dino Vasso, who is the defensive backs coach, I'm saying, hey, Jalen, the next time you get this type of alignment and you know that this um tight end is eligible, you have got to wait. 1001, 1002. Let Aziz is coming downhill. He can fill that gap. You need to, this is your responsibility coming off the end, because this is how they beat us. And it was a great play by the New England Patriots. Great play by the New England Patriots. It's got to be better coverage when it comes to Jalen Petrie the next time around. As I digress, look, the offensive line, Joe Mixon cleaned up a lot for them. The defense helped them out a whole lot yesterday by giving them a short field. You cannot take away the fact that on the Joe Mixon 59-yard run and on the Damian Pierce 54-yard run, that they did not block very well. But there's still some things that needs to be cleaned up on this line. And we can say, in the past, we've talked about the continuity issues with them not playing, all of them playing together, with all of them not be playing together. Juice Scruggs has missed a game this year. Laramie had to go in and out because he had an ankle injury. Titus missed a game, and you're getting Blake Fisher coming in here and there, and he's just a rookie, so he's still learning. And so, there has been some continuity issues as far as that offensive line playing together. But when they all are playing together, it just seems like something is off. Something is off. Something is not right. Something is not right. Something is not clicking. And going into the third quarter, this offensive line has to take a step up. And I mean, third quarter of the season is what I'm talking about. And that's the third 4 games of the season, because they only have 2 games left in this quarter. They have they play the Packers, and then they play the Colts at home, and then they go into that next stretch of playing against, they playing some of these primetime games, and so but I need to see in these next 2 games leading into the third quarter, this offensive line, and especially if they can do that against a Green Bay Packers team, a Green Bay's Packers team that can get themselves, against a Green Bay Packers team who is, one of the better teams in the NFC. They need to take that next step up. They need to take that next level. Like I said, they allowed 19 quarterback pressures, and 2 sacks. And having a running back like Joe Mixon back helps them to, because what Joe Mixon does, Joe Mixon is a running back who waits for his blocks. He'll wait. He's patient. When you have a patient back like that, then that's where these offensive linemen can get to moving, and Joe can watch everything develop in front of him. The problem that comes in when this running games look inept, when this running game looks bad, and it even look bad sometimes during that Patriots game on Sunday, the problem comes in and is where they snap the ball and the defensive linemen are already in the backfield or already where Joe Mixon is trying to come. So even if he tries to wait, he really can't wait, because the defensive player is on him like that. Is on him. And so that's where you need the offensive line, and you need that interior part of that offensive line. Once that interior part of that offensive line, I'm talking about left guard Kenyon Green, center Juice Scruggs, and right guard Shaq Mason. That's the part of the line that needs to take that next step. Once they put it all together and be able to blow the defensive lineman off the line and get to that second level, if they can consistently get to that second level, get to those linebackers, you're gonna see multiple 100+ yard rushing games from Joe Mixon. And it ain't gonna be just from a 59-yard run. The bulk of it ain't gonna come from a big run like that. You're gonna see Joe Mixon be able to get 120, 130, 2 touchdowns. Once they start getting to that second level, it's going to be lights out. And I feel like they can get there. It's just going to take a little bit more time. And at 5-1, you still look at it and you say, look, we're 5-1, but there's some things that we can improve on. And so you need that offensive line to improve on that. And with that being said, hey, look, CJ Stroud finished the game, right? Quarterback CJ Stroud finished the game with 192 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. In the previous 2 games, he had passed for over 300 plus yards. And then you look at the 192 and you're like, oh wow, that was an off day for CJ Stroud. And when you say off day, you're thinking, oh man, he 192 yards there. He just wasn't having a good day. No, CJ Stroud had an off day because of the way the running game was attacking the Patriots defense and the way that the Texans defense was attacking the Patriots offense, giving him short fields, giving him short fields, short drives. Let me go and pull this up. Possession. All right. In the second half, after the fumble by Danielle Hunter, the forced fumble by Danielle Hunter, it went 2 plays for 10 yards. Then the next drive to get the field goal at 10 plays for 59 yards. The next field goal, 4 plays, 3 yards. The last 2 touchdowns, 2 plays, 26 yards. Then 4 plays, 70 yards, and then that's because Damian Pierce went for 54 yards. So in the second half, hold on, let me get to right here. Team stats. In the second half, they only had 185 total yards. And where are the passing? CJ only had to pass for 81 yards. Where is it at? Yeah, CJ was 9 for 14, 88 yards, and 1 touchdown. And so it wasn't an off day as far as his performance. He just had an off day. Like the defense and the running game gave him an off day. This is what really stood out to me, though. Here's a couple of things that stood out to me as far as CJ Stroud is concerned. Stroud was blitzed on 52.9% of his dropbacks, the highest of his career by over 10%. 10 of 16 for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's according to Next Gen Stats. So he was blitzed over 50% on yesterday and still was 10 of 16 for 100 yards with 2 touchdowns. I don't know why these offensive. I don't know why these defensive coordinators keep coming at CJ Stroud like this. I don't understand. I don't understand why they don't see that this young man has a unique talent to be able to stand in the pocket and dissect a defense. Even if you go back to that Minnesota Vikings game, it was pre-snap penalties that got them down short field for the Vikings offense. It really wasn't CJ's performance because given time to sustain drives, I think that would have been a more competitive game. It wouldn't have been the game that it ended up being, the blowout by the Vikings. I don't know why defensive coordinators keep coming at him like that. I don't get it. And I don't understand why. Let me look at this. I don't understand why they don't know that on third downs, CJ is the man. CJ is the man on third down. Third and long, it don't even matter. CJ, given the time, and the offensive line has been giving them some time, but even when he doesn't have the time, even when he is blitzed, even when he is pressured, CJ makes the right decision. He had 192 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Okay. This interception, right? This interception. Somebody brought this up earlier. I'm going to say it now. Dalton Schultz had an off game. Dalton Schultz had a bad game. And that interception that happened in the end zone, that was Dalton Schultz's fault. Side note, the last 4 possessions for the Houston Texans in that first half was a missed field goal, interception, punt. Horrible way. They ended up with 41 points on the game. They could have had 51, 58. They probably could have they could have put up a 50 spot on the New England Patriots, and that would have been great. They would have needed to get that out of their system. Shake off all that bad mojo and juju that they had. But going back to Dalton Schultz, he did not look good on yesterday. And I don't know what was going on. I can't tell you what was going on. Maybe, we'll get a chance to talk to him. Maybe today we'll get a chance to talk to him today. But and he was targeted like he had the second most targets on yes. I think he was targeted like 8 times, if I'm not mistaken. But that interception, he should have caught that. You don't catch it, you tip it up. Of course, these are defensive backs in the NFL. You tip the ball up, they're going to go hunting. And so, yes, CJ had that interception, but that really wasn't on CJ. That really wasn't on CJ. That was on Dalton. There was a couple of other plays where Dalton should have made the play, and it just didn't look like he was interested in making the plays. I don't know. I'm only telling you what I see. I'm only telling you what I see. It just didn't look like he was interested in making the plays. And this is your time to shine, Dalton. Nico's out. That means that there's targets to be spread around. Whatever Nico was getting could be spread around to everybody else. And you're one of the ones that they're going to need, especially this week against the Green Bay Packers. He has to be better. He has to step it up. He has to be better. They're going to need him. Because if not, I guess you're going to have to start seeing what the rookie K Stover can do. They paid too much money to put Dalton Schultz on the sideline. So I'm not saying that Dalton Schultz should be benched. I'm just saying that we need to see him take it up that next level if this Houston Texans offense is going to survive until they can get Nico Collins back. I digress. A couple of more things, y'all, and get up out of here. Hey, so we talked about how Stingley got beat, right? Stingley's one of the better corners in the league, and we talked about how he got beat on that pass. We talked about how we got beat on that pass from Drake May at the end of the second quarter, that 40-yard touchdown pass. But on the other side, the New England Patriots also have a really good cornerback in Christian Gonzalez. Well, Stephon Diggs ate him for lunch. I don't know no other way to put it. Stephon Diggs ate Christian Gonzalez for lunch. Pause, because in the era of Diddy, you definitely have to say pause. They lined up across from each other 10 times. Diggs was targeted 5 times. He had 4 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 9.75 yards per catch. That is a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot. Averaging almost 10 yards a catch on one of the premier cornerbacks in the league, and Christian Gonzalez. Hey, man, I'm just saying. Y'all get mad at Derek Stingley for giving up one 40-yard touchdown pass, and then the rest of the game, he only gave up, for the entire game, he gave up 3 catches for 16 yards. Stephon Diggs had 4 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown, almost averaged 10 yards against Christian Gonzalez. Hey, I'm just saying. Do with that as you will. Last thing I have for you all before we get ready to get up out of here. Hey, if you're not following me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Star Sports with a Z at the end, you're missing out. You're missing out, and you're especially missing out on the halftime spaces, because I do a halftime spaces at every game, right? At home or on the road. Hey, side note to my side note. You also should follow me. If you're a Texans fan, you should follow me, because I'm also boots on ground. And what I mean by boots on ground is I don't just attend the home games. I travel as well. I give you the perspective that I'm seeing on the road. I'm giving you what we're talking about after the game, as far as the locker room is concerned, talking to these players after the game on the road. You should follow me for that. I'm sorry. If I wasn't me, I would follow me. I'd be like, damn, hey man, that big Sarge, he be on it, man. I mean, I'm talking about that. Hey, look, he was in New England this past Sunday, came back home, gave us great Texans insight, not only on Sports Talk with Big Sarge, but on Locked On Texans podcast, available wherever you get your podcast from. And now he's headed to Lambeau. Like, when Big Sarge say he on the beat, he's really on the beat. So you should follow me at Big Star Sports with the Z at the end on Twitter, because I do this halftime spaces. I do this halftime spaces, right? Hold on. Be sure to follow the H-Time Rundown as well. Big Sarge is a friend of the pod. Exactly, I am. I do these halftime spaces, and in the halftime spaces, we talk about what we seen, and I'm talking about myself because it's an open forum. I start off talking, then I open up the floor to whoever's in the space that want to talk. Because just like my show, just like the Sports Talk with Big Star show is interactive, the spaces is interactive too. I don't come on there and limit anybody from talking. I open it up and say everybody can speak, and I will say, hey, y'all can talk. Hey, who got something to say? And so what we'll do is we'll talk about these first half, what we seen in the first half, and then I'll talk about what needs to happen in the second half. And everything that I talked about that needed to happen in the second half, those second half adjustments happen. What did I say? Hey, Will Anderson is balling. Daniil Hunter's gonna have to get some of that. He gonna have to get some of that mojo, that some of whatever, that power juice. Hey, y'all remember back in the day when you was younger, and juice, you go and you get some juice, be like, who gotta get my power juice? Hold on, wait. You stop playing football, like, hold on. I gotta get my power juice. Y'all never had power juice when you was little? You never had power juice when you was outside playing? Oh my God, power juice was the best. I gotta give me some of this power juice, man. Hold on, I gotta get my power juice. And it really wasn't but Kool-Aid or that juicy juice, or oh no. Hey, Tampico punch. Tampico. That stuff is thick as mucus. That is not power juice. That is not power juice. Tampico is probably the worst juice I've ever had in my life. Yes, the little barrel juice with the silver tops. Yes. Tampico, never. And if there's a sponsor out there that's listening and from Tampico and say, Sarge, we want to change your mind by having you promote Tampico, I would definitely do it, and I would drink it. I'm just saying. But growing up, Tampico was the worst. It was even hard to swallow Tampico. I digress. Look, we talked about Will Hunter. Daniil Hunter needed to do and do whatever Will Anderson Jr. was doing in the first half, and he did it. We talked about how the defense needed to step up. We talked about how the offense needed to step up, and we talked about how they needed to get the ball to Diggs more, and that offense, I said, maybe this is a Jedi mind trick, because we know that in the previous 3 games, they haven't been good as far as in the 3 previous games against the Vikings, the Jags, and the Bills. They have not been good. I think they had scored a combined 16 points, if I'm not mistaken. But in the second half, they were averaging less than 10 points. Less than 10 points. Points that Kaimi Fairbairn can get by himself just by kicking. But they did not look good in the second half on offense. And so for whatever adjustments D'Amico was making to keep the team in the game, and then you got CJ coming and winning the game. You got Kaimi coming and winning the game. The defense kept them in because that the offense in the second half did not look good. And so I said, hey, maybe, just maybe, with those 4 stalled drives that they had, with the missed field goal, the interception, and the 2 punts, maybe that means that they're going to go in and make the adjustment at halftime, and then when they come out, it's going to be different. Because against the Bears, they scored 3 points. It's 17 points, y'all. My bad. No, take that back. 23. What are you doing, Sarge? The last four games, they've only scored 23 points, had only scored 23 points in the second half. They scored 3 against the Bears, 7 against the Vikings, 7 against the Jags, and 6 against the Bills. So I said, at some point, this has to change, right? And you start off the game with two beautiful touchdown drives, and then you just stall out. I said, Bobby gonna have to make some adjustments, and maybe this is the game where we see the offense put it together. 27 points in the second half. most since the 17 points they scored in week 1 against the Colts. 27 points by the offense in the second half. That's what you need to see. That's what you want to see. And they didn't even play their best football in the second half, but they still scored 27 points. And that's the type of thing that you need to get out of slumps. How many of you all are Major League Baseball fans in here, right? How many of you are old school MLB fans? Because in the new day and age, they can't say these type of things because they'll get canceled. So they can't. But for those of you all who are old school Major League Baseball fans, you'll know when I say this. You know, sometimes sometimes those hitters used to say, "Hey man, when I get in a slump, I just go get me a slump buster." You don't know what that means? I'm not gonna say it because you're not gonna cancel me, especially after this show is finally gaining some type of momentum. I'm not gonna get canceled. Just type in Major League Baseball slump busters, and then you'll see some quotes from some old school baseball players that tell you exactly how they used to get out of their slumps. And it looks like the Patriots may have been the slump busters for the Houston Texans on Sunday. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Just look it up. Just look it up. Slump busters. Major League Baseball back in the day. The the Houston Texans have been looking for a slump buster, and I think it came in the form of the New England Patriots. Their offense has been looking for that. They needed that. They needed that. It's just too much built up pressure. Just too much. Just. What was that? What was that on Nutty Professor? And the pressure just building up, and the woo, and the woo, and the woo, and the woo, and it pops. Pop goes the weasel because the weasel go pop. Hey, look, come back tomorrow. Come back on Tuesday so we could talk about, for those of y'all who go and do your research on slump busters, and you could drop it in the comments. Speaking of comments, all right, y'all, let me get some more. Let me get some more before I get up out of here. Um, y'all know I like to to jump into these comments and give everybody who spend their time with me. I like to spend my time back with them. Do you think that Mario will start over Foley? Yes, I do. They look like the second. Yep. Having Joe Mixon change his offense, he makes everything a little bit easier for everyone. Sloke is a joke, just saying I mix it back and finally start calling passing on first down. Come on, Patty. Patty. What? Come on now. Sloke can't win for losing. He cannot win for losing because if he just called running plays and they didn't work on first down, you'd be like, why he still calling running plays on first down when he got Tank and he got Stephon? Joe Mixon is just real 100 from Sunday to Sunday. Joe about to get let me see. The NFL is hard. Someone needs to remind him that most plays in the NFL are clicking. That 1-2 punch of Damian Pierce, Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce look good. We're going to have to run the ball against the Packers the same way. The Packers have a really good secondary. They do. Yes, Peachy played with bad eyes on that play. He didn't read that O-line correctly. If he sees high hat that, he would have known it was a pass. And we're going back to when the Patriots got that touchdown pass to tight end Hunter Henry, where you seen Jalen Petrie chasing him, and him and Aziz was going into the same place. Who is BCB? BCB says KG is the worst offensive lineman we had. I don't know who BCB is. You're gonna have to tell me who that is. Patriots just released veteran. They released him? Wow. Because I think, hold on for a second, Sarah. Where's my notes? Let me look. Let me look. I didn't know that they released him. Let me look. How many how many quarterback pressures did he give up yesterday? I don't see him. Uh, where's the center? Damn, I don't even see him on here. Hmm. By matchup. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even see him on. I guess he gave up 8 quarterback. You know, he gave up 8 quarterback pressures last week. All right. Green Bay doesn't have the defense the Texans have. I'm fairly sure we're going to unpack the Packers, and Love is going to be eating grass. It's going to be that weather is going to play a lot of a big part in it too. They gave up 11 pressures in the A and B gap this weekend. That's the worst in the NFL. Thank God we have CJ, of course. Let me see. I love how Mix and Steph Tank Pierce got a tutty. Could have been Schultz too. Could have been. What happened, Corey? Why your comments not showing? I don't know, Corey. I didn't do nothing, bro. I promise you I didn't do nothing. Let me see. Corey, every day you come on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, determined to either get me canceled or divorced. I'm not gonna read that. I'm just gonna show that you said it, not me. It's supposed to rain and be cold. That man gets no run on Sports Talk with Big Sarge. No run. He couldn't even get. I listen. You know what? If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. And I don't have nothing nice to say about that young man. I wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Just know that he'll never be on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, and Big Sarge will never be a part of anything that he's involved in. When I click on the spaces and I see his name, I immediately leave. I immediately leave because I don't want no parts of it. Because I just told you all that when I say I'm on the beat, I'm on the beat. I go different places as well. You can't tell me if I'm in the same room as Aaron Wilson. You can't tell me what Aaron Wilson said when I'm sitting right there as well, listening to the questions, or you can't tell me that Aaron Wilson said this when I say something. You tell me I'm wrong, and I'm like, bro, I talked to the player. Well, Aaron Wilson said, well, that's what they told Aaron. This is what they told me. And Aaron Wilson is one of my really good friends. He is one of my really good friends. Like Aaron and I talk a lot. Contrary to how some people want to treat him, Aaron is very good at his job. He's very determined at his job. And just like myself, just like others, we don't always get everything right. But I trust Aaron more than I trust some of the people that y'all give credit to. I trust Aaron way more than y'all give to other people. Aaron Wilson is somebody that I trust as far as the NFL information is concerned. I know that Aaron works very hard at what he does. So I'm not taking a shot at Aaron because I appreciate what Aaron does. But you're not going to tell me that I'm wrong if I'm in the same room. I said next to Aaron yesterday in the press conference. I said next to Aaron. I was standing next to Aaron in the locker room. Aaron and I do post-game stuff together on the field. Him for his respective platform, me for my respective platform. He take pictures on the field for me. I take pictures on the field for him. I record his post-game afterwards to send back to KPRC too. He is a huge addition to KPRC. So I'm saying all that, and I preface all that to say that Mr. You know who tried to say, oh, well, Aaron said this. Oh, really? Well, let me call him and find out. And then Aaron was like, that's not what I said. That is not what I said, Sarge. I was like, no, I know. I just had to take a shot at him. All right, y'all. About to get ready to get up out of here. I got to go over to the I'm running late. I got to get over to the I got to get over to NRG. Listen to the players and the coach talk. And I really appreciate that. Hold on, we got one more comment that came in. Corey, Team Aaron, Civil War. You said fat guys are going to be running the ball for a touchdown. You all be tripping. Corey would get people caught up. Yes, Corey be trying it. Corey be trying to get it caught up. Hey, you got an extra room at your house for me, Corey? And when my wife kicked me out, then I'm coming straight to your crib. And you gonna start the spaces, and I'm gonna be in the other room on the spaces in the same house. Been tuning to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports at the Z at the end. Make sure you follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, 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 at Big Sarge Media. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. I appreciate it. See you all on tomorrow. I'm out.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.